Hey, hello, leaders. This is Paul Grau Jr., and welcome to Run to Your Leadership Challenges. So today, happy Monday, first of all. Hope you all had a great weekend. If you're listening to this on the day it comes out, it is a Monday. And today, I want to talk about something that came up in a recent conversation, and it has to do with ownership, but not the kind of ownership that you might be thinking. Usually when we talk about a company having ownership issues, it's with the leaders and the team members not having ownership of their roles and their task and their job and their commitment. They're not, they just don't own it. The old saying, like, excuse me, the old saying, like, when you own something, you take better care of it. And when you go to work, when you have ownership of your job, that's like your baby. You take care of that. You work hard because you own it. You own the process. You own the result. Well, that's usually when we're talking about ownership issues in an organization, that's usually what we're talking about. But I want to talk about the ownership dilemma of ownership being the problem and not ownership like employees own it or leaders own their responsibility. I'm talking about the owner of the company having ownership problems. And, a real life situation might be, if you're an NFL football fan, Jerry Jones of the Dallas Cowboys, he owns the team. But a lot of people think that he is just too involved in the team. Now, Jerry, hey, God bless him. He is very passionate about his team. But whether or not he should be coaching the team and taking on so much responsibilities that the coach should do and the people that he hires, to do a job, he's probably overstepping his boundaries sometime. And that is the ownership dilemma that I'm talking about here. So think about that. If you own a company and you hire leaders and people to do certain jobs, you need to let them do it. Now, as a leader, if the owner is overstepping in your belief or in your perspective or from your perspective, if the owner's stepping in and kind of getting in the way, well, it's time that you may want to say something. Now, you got to be really careful here because that person's the owner, right? And they're probably capable of firing you in a moment's notice. So how do you go around that? How do you dance on those eggshells without breaking anything? And that is a tricky situation for sure. But there's ways to do it. And it's by being tactful, first of all. And a lot of times, when I go in, when I go in and work with a company and I happen to see this, it's easy for me to pull the CEO or the owner aside possibly, or, when the time is right or when I get the opportunity, and just have a real heart-to-heart with them. Because when I do that, I'm going to say, from an outsider's perspective and from what I'm hearing from the leaders, you're stepping in a lot and kind of micromanaging. And I understand that you're the CEO, you're the owner, you're the COO, whatever. You're overall responsible for that. But you have people in place that you put there that you should trust enough to get the job done without you stepping in all the time and correcting them. Now, if an owner indeed does not like a process that's going on, and if they want to step in and address an issue that a leader or a team member is doing, there's ways that they can do it. And the best method for them to do that is through coaching, through calling that person aside and not just telling them what needs to be done, but coach them through it. Say, hey, I noticed this is happening. You list it out, ABC, this is happening. And I was wondering how that's working out. And what's your plan for the future? You just ask them and you can direct them in certain ways, but you want the individual or the leader to come up with those ideas so it doesn't look like you're micromanaging. Now, it's okay to inquire. That's perfectly okay. It's okay to go in there and talk to them and have frequent chats with leaders. You want to do that. You want to build relationships. It's important for the owners to build relationships with the team as a team, because an individual is a lot different dynamic than being with the entire team. One-on-one with the owner is a lot different than the owner being with the team. So, I guess this one goes out to leaders who are in this ownership dilemma. I'm here for you. I feel for you because it's a difficult position to be in. I'm also here to tell you that I can help, because if I come in as a coach or a consultant, I can tell the owner or the CEO what I see and relay that to him. And, the worst that he's going to do is not invite me back. But I'm still going to get paid for coaching or consulting or whatever. And I'm going to be honest with them. And that's tough sometimes. I've had to have those kind of conversations with leaders and owners and C-suite executives, and they usually don't respond greatly to that. They don't respond to it with open arms all the time. Some do. Some are like, oh man, yeah, I can see how it looks that way, and that could be, and I may sit down and have a chat with some of these people. And I'm quick to say, that might not be the best thing, because if their perception of you is stepping in and micromanaging, do you think they're really going to be truthful if you go to them and say, hey, I'm overstepping my boundaries? Or do you feel I'm overstepping my boundaries? I mean, again, the owner, CEO comes to you and asks that question. Are you going to say, yeah, you're being a real butthole and you're interrupting and you're getting where you shouldn't be and you need to let me do my damn job? Well, that's not going to be all that great. So I'm quick to tell them, well, if this is the case, like I see it, what are some things that you can do? And it's an opportunity to coach them. And again, they'll say some ideas and I'll be like, yeah, what else? What else can you do? And I'll say what else 10 times. And I'm like, all right, after all those things that you just came up with, what do you think is the best plan forward? And I won't ever come out and say yes to a particular one because I want it to be their decision, but I will continue coaching them until they're very confident that that's the best plan forward. Now, as far as a leader, if you have the owner that's overstepping, again, you need to deal with that in some way. And there's way to do things like that. You can sit down and say, hey, can we go over my job expectations? Can we go over my job description? Because I don't think I'm doing stuff that's in my job description, or I'm unclear on what the expectations are here. Because a lot of times, you can even say, hey, I think I'm overstepping my boundaries because I'm doing stuff and you're coming behind me and doing something else. And I don't want to, duplicate work here, because if you have all plans on doing it, I'll just let you do that. Or if I can help in any way, shape, or form, let me know. Because right now, the expectations are unclear. You know, a conversation like that, put it in your own words based on your situation. Ultimately, you want to make sure that they know you are out for the best interest of the company, of the team, you know, for them. And if they need to step in and take over something, that's fine. But if they hired you to do something, you need to let them know, hey, you know, you hired me to do this, and I would love the opportunity to be able to do it. So, hey, I went over 10 minutes today, and I apologize for that. But this is a tricky challenge, and it's one that high-performing leaders have to go through at times. And it's how you handle it and how tactful you are in handling it. And again, if you're a high-performing leader and an owner, man, you have empowered your leaders to do something. Let them do it. If you haven't empowered them to do it, why have you even hired them to do something? Empower them. Give them control to do it. Hey, I hope this helped. And I hope you have a great day and a great week ahead of you. And until tomorrow, run to your challenges. We'll see you.